first thing I want to show you before I take you over to where I'm working on some sculpting over here is how to get clay out of the tub. This tub will be on the floor underneath here where I showed you in the full-on video. It is a water-based clay, and so it's a little damp and gross in there, but don't be afraid. Our clay is covered with a towel, and the way in which you get chunks of clay off of this huge block of clay is with a wire. Okay, I've got a wire right here. There are some smaller chunks of clay back in this back bag, but they're kind of dirty and dry, and we use those as scrap for projects. So you don't want to use this clay back here. You see how crumbly it is? We need to revitalize it. Again, we save it because we do use it for some things, but for this project you want to use new good clay. Okay, so that will be found in this little bag that has some clumps in there that are small, okay? Or it'll be found in this big block that's at the front of the tub, okay? And what you want to do is pull that block up, pull the plastic down from it like this, okay? Just kind of peel it down. You can see where someone has tried to like claw some out of here. That's not the most efficient way to get your clay, okay? What we use is we use a wire, and we take your clay and we slice it like that so you can get a chunk, okay? And you can get as many chunks as you want off of here. When you're done, make sure that you pull the plastic all the way back up over top of it, close it up, okay? Lay it back down on its side, and then cover it up with the damp towel. That's kind of icky, but again, it's just water and clay. There's nothing in there but a little bit of dirt, and that won't hurt you. Also, make sure that you get this on nice and tight so that it's clicked into place. Okay? All right. Okay, I'm going to move over here to where I had started a sculpt on a prior video and failed, but I think we're still good. Okay? So this was me beginning the sculpture on this project. You're going to get one of the faces, which are down here at the end of the table, okay, or the end of the counter. Okay, so you want one of the faces, and then you'll just begin applying your clay to the face, okay, to get your shape, which I'm going to demonstrate here in a minute. I just sort of quickly sketched out a little face for purposes of this project. It's right here on the edge of the newspaper. Another thing you're going to want to get and lay down is a piece of newspaper. It'll make your cleanup a lot easier when you're done. Okay, so I just sort of sketched out this little guy in the corner of the newspaper. You're welcome to do that. You can look online and you can find some photos of Commedia dell'arte masks, and that will be a great project for you to work on with this. But basically for a domino mask, you're only working with the nose. You're only working with the nose and with the eyes and maybe a little bit of the upper lip. Okay, we're not worried about anything going on down here with the chin because we're not going to cover the mouth. We're only going to, this mask will only be worn on this part of the face. Okay, so to begin this, I just got my chunks of clay and I just began applying them to the face. You don't need to put any resist down. The clay will just sort of naturally want to attach itself to the plaster if you work it hard with your hands. Okay. One of the things that you don't want to do is you don't want to have a shape that has a lot of undercuts. And what that means is that this nose, It sort of turns up a little bit on the end. This may be pushing it because this is a little bit of an undercut, okay? You want to have surfaces that sort of come out from your face, but that don't double back on themselves too awfully much. Again, I'm going to experiment with this just to see if I can do that. I would recommend, since this is your first time doing a molding and casting job, that you not do something like this. And the easy thing to do would be, if I want to do something different, is I just take it like that, right? And I just reshape his nose so that it's just sort of a straight on nose, okay? But I'm going to dance with danger, and I'm going to do a little bit of a kick up on the nose. The great thing about clay is that it is very forgiving. This water-based clay is quite forgiving, and you can, again, repair it. If something goes awry, you can rip it off, you can start all over. Doesn't really matter. Okay. There we go. I'm going to have just a little bit of a kickback. Another thing that you want to do as you go is you want to make sure that everything is getting smoothed as you work. You also want to make sure that you have some flat surfaces, okay? This is more of a design thing for masks, but since you're sculpting for masks, you might as well get a little bit of design theory on it too. Having flatter surfaces gives the light something to play with, okay? So what I tend to like to do is get sort of a piece that stands out and is flat, and then sort of smooth out from there. Okay. Again, you can tell where your proportions are. This is your eye, this is your nose. Okay. Got a little bit of a nostril going over here. Okay. And I'm giving him a little bit of a cheek here. Okay. Again, this part is you being creative, you making things sort of smooth and nice, and not making things double back on themselves too awfully much. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of this shaping and sculpting off camera. I will go ahead and show you just quickly, since you missed me, since I had a video fail, how the clay wants to get started going on. What I usually do is I push it on and then I sort of pull it down. Okay, so this eyebrow is going to be a little higher, so we're going to do that. Push the clay on and pull it down. Just like that. Okay, and then I've got my clay on there, and now I can work with it and do the shaping of it. Okay, there are a few tools that you might be interested in using. I tend to do this all with my hands, but there is a drawer that contains clay tools right here. Okay, and in it you'll find some wooden tools. You'll find some tools that have metal ends that you can use for shaping your clay. Again, that's sort of up to you. If you've sculpted before and you like using tools, they're there. Otherwise, you can get a very nice structure just by using your hands. Okay. So I'm going to go off camera and finish sculpting this, and then come back to you. All right.